What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back. Today we are taking a look at yet another diorama piece from Joy Toy. This time we are taking a look at the MECHA Depot monitoring area. And this is for the 1/18 scale figures. Looking at the front of the box, you can see that this is actually 3 levels. So it's going to be interesting as we put this thing together. On the bottom of the box it says MECHA Depot monitoring area. If I spin around to the back, flip up to the top, it says the same thing. And on the back of the box, it shows a great picture of what this thing's going to look like once it's all put together. Over here is the 3 tiers and all the details, and it does actually say pictures for reference only, action figures and weapon accessories sold separately. So this does not come with any figures. We'll spin it back around to the front. And we'll see if we can't get this thing out of the box and put together. With everything taken out and laid on the bench, that box was absolutely packed so tight I don't think you could have fit another piece in there. Before we take a look at all these parts, let's take a look at the pamphlet that was actually included. And this shows a nice picture of what this is going to look like in black and white. And if I open it up and take a look inside, see if I can't get this to open up, there's an actual inventory list of everything included. And when you flip it around the back, it gives some pretty simple instructions on how this thing actually goes together. Looks like we got a lot of work ahead of us, so let's get started. I always like to go over all the inventory just so everybody knows what's going on and what's included. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is right here. These are the stair parts. According to the inventory, there's 9 of these stair treads. These are silver with some triangle shapes on them with peg holes, and of course these are going to peg onto the actual risers right in the back there. This is a platform, and there's only 1 of these. Has the same design. Now, according to the inventory, there's 16 of these Lego type connectors. Now, these are the same connectors that I had to use in my meeting area video, so feel free to check that out. Next on the list, there's 2 of these bright yellow guardrails. These have a black wash to them. Over here, there's a single, really heavy-duty, unique-looking guardrail. It's gray on the back, and it's got the cautionary tape sign on the front. And note there's a peg in the center. To the left of that, there's 2 of these upright or vertical supports. These are in a maroon color with a black wash. Pretty heavy duty looking, with pegs on either end and a hole in the center. According to the instructions, there's 10 of these vertical supports. These are in the same maroon color with black wash, and I really like how these look like I-beams and very industrial looking. Now if we go all the way to the back left, there's 3 of these shelving units. And these are a reddish color with black wash on them. Again, these are the same shelving units that came with the meeting area, except these ones are red. Nice detail and pretty plain on the back here. And there's 3 of those again. Right next to those, there's 2 of these very large walls with the number 4 on them. In front of them, there's some new floor platforms that we have here, and according to the inventory, there's 12 of these. Has a great silver look, nice texture to them. Of course, that's the finished side, and if I flip it around the back, you can tell there's no paint back here, so there's not much going on. Get this to stand up back here. Whoops. And right next to them, there's 12 of these vertical off-white wall units. They're off-white with a black speckled wash on the bottom. And it has the same design on both sides, so I guess when we're assembling this, it doesn't matter which is the front or back. And right in front of them, there's 6 of these, and these are L-shaped brackets with 3 holes in them, and these are the actual leg units for the computer stations. They're black and they got a little bit of silver speckle to them. And right next to them is the actual computer units. right here, the keyboard, monitors, and seats. Let me grab this so you can take a look. And these are kind of a smoky black with a silver wash to them. And these look absolutely fantastic with the keyboards and buttons, and you can see the 3 sculpted in mini monitors on the front. Not much going on the underside, and if we look at the back, you can actually notice 2 of the pegs. And those obviously peg into those L bracket legs. To the right of them, there's 3 of these, and these are the actual monitors. Same black color. And there's a large and small monitor, and again, there's pegs on the back side. In front of these, there's the actual chair pieces. I'll grab the chair back and chair seat part. Again, these look fantastic. Great looking detail on them. And of course, there's detail on both sides. And right next to these is the actual chair stands, and there's 3 of these. And you'll notice the peg on top, and it actually pegs into the bottom of the chair. Over here we have these gray guardrails, and there's 6 of these. These are in a light gray color with a black wash, with pegs on the bottom. Now behind all the computer stuff, there's actual 4 shelves. And these are smaller than the maroon ones. These are yellow with a black wash on them. Great looking detail all the way around on these. And these look like they're stackable. And right behind them is the actual floor pieces. And these are the long rectangular type. 7 of these. Again, these are diamond plated with a nice gray color and silver highlight. Of course, the underside's not painted. And finally, right behind them is the actual 2 stairwells. And let me see if I can't get this on camera for you. And these are the same off-white as the walls with a little bit of black wash and all these pegs going up. And that's for these right here, the treads. I can't believe that they fit all this stuff in that small little box. And for the last item that they actually gave us is these right here. And these are the actual labels for the monitors and the keyboards and all the electronics. And unfortunately, guys, these are water slide labels. Not really sure why Joy Toy opted to go with water slide labels, because quite frankly, a lot of people don't really know how to use these, and I just really wish they would have gave us stickers for the computer stations and stuff, but nevertheless, we'll go over these later. So all in all, guys, there's an awful lot of stuff here, and we got a lot of work ahead of us, so let's get started. So according to the instructions, step 1 is to actually start with the first floor base. Now there's 6 of these small square ones and 3 of these rectangular ones. And these are all connected with these Lego style clips. And what you have to do is connect all these together. And what I'll do is, I'm actually going to show you on one of these. And you take this and you slide it into the slot right there. You take the corresponding piece. You line them up. And you push it in. And they line up just like this. Nice tight fit. I'm not going to bore you with this. I'll speed up the video and get the rest of this put together for you. And there we have the first floor base. Now that the first floor is done, let's work on the second floor. And this is laid out in this fashion with 3 long pieces, 3 square pieces, and 1 square piece in the upper left corner so the stairwell can get up onto the second floor. Now I'll flip this over like I did on the first floor, and there's something I want to show you guys. Let me grab one of these clips and put it in. Now, if this is askew or off center at all, these clips will not go in. So this actually has to be completely in line with one another for these clips to seat properly. Just like this. So make sure they're not askew and nice and square. I'll go ahead and speed this section up again, and we'll get to the next step. And with that last clip, here we have the second floor all assembled. And for the last and third floor, there's a long piece and two square pieces. And just like the other two, I'll flip these over. We'll get these clips in real quick. And see if I can't this. There we go. And I have to apologize, guys, if my camera is shaking a little bit throughout this whole process. It's because I'm using quite a bit of force to put these things together. And here we have the third floor. Now it's time to add some walls, so I went ahead and brought in the first floor base again and lined up all the walls around. And according to the instructions, there's 3 of these vertical walls, these narrow ones that we looked at earlier. There's a large square wall with the number 4 on it, one of these type of beams, and 2 more of these walls right here. And what I find is if you line up the pegs and kind of shake it back and forth just a little bit, they tend to snap in relatively easily. I'll go ahead and speed this up and get this portion done too. And here we have the exterior walls for the first floor. Now, according to the instructions, we actually got to add the center wall right down the middle right here. I grabbed some of the parts that we needed for the interior wall right here, and there's 2 of these walls and a handful of these type of I-beams. I'll go ahead and speed up the camera once again and get the center wall put together. Now, as I'm putting these together, I'm noticing that if you hold these beams down near the bottom and you push them in the peg hole like this, or give them a little wiggle or back and forth motion, they tend to go in a little bit easier, and that's only because of the paint buildup on the actual pegs. It's making them really tight to set in those holes. As I spin this around the front, you can actually see the different chambers starting to come together on this first floor. And let's see what the second floor is going to look like. Now here's the actual second floor platform that we built earlier. And it's going to get a little tricky now because there's quite a few pegs that we have to line up. Get this in a little closer and we'll lay this down just like this. You can see this is going to be it's going to be tricky. So let's start. I'll spin it around to the side here and do one peg in at a time. And hopefully with any luck, these will all line up quite easily. A little bit of issue here. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. And the last one. And we'll come back to the center right here, and I'll have to get my hand inside and see if I can't line this up. There we go. I'm using quite a bit of pressure, guys, and I'm afraid I'm going to break it, but it is surprisingly quite sturdy. Now if I spin it around to the front side, we got the center wall we still need to line up. Oh, let me see, push this down again. They are a snug fit, I'm not going to lie. Now here we have the center wall we got to deal with. Not sure if that's coming off on camera, but there's a whole row here, and of course every one of these red I-beams. And again, I apologize for the camera shaking. The camera's actually sitting on the same bench as, of course, the diorama, so you can see the pressure I'm using. Here we go. Try to get these in. I take my time. I don't want to break anything. Get this one in. And the last one in. It looks like the center one right here is not quite lined up. Let me see. Here we go. And you'll feel them pop into place as you go. There we go. And now it's starting to really look like something. Right, there's a little bouncy, but we'll take care of that. This gives you an idea what it's going to look like with the second floor on. And, geez, it looks like this one came apart again. So, let me see. There we go. Wow, I'm apologizing once again for shaking the camera, guys. There we go. Nice tight fit. I'm loving the design, and I really like how there's actually a hallway right here in the back. And now you can see the chamber on the right side, and there we go. Push that in one more time. After taking a closer look, I looked down the side of my bench, and I noticed I had 2 more of these red I-beams left, and I have to correct myself, guys. I had to lift some of this flooring off and actually add those 2 beams, just like the center ones. There's 2 beams in the back there, just like the back. And by adding those additional beams, it actually supports this upper level. So I didn't want to take it all apart on camera, but I did want to point out that that's where they go. With the first floor finally assembled, I had to raise my camera up, because now we're going to be working on the second floor. And I'm going to pull this in a little closer. And these walls are absolutely identical to the first floor. They go around the exterior part of the diorama, and we'll start with the back corner here. And I'll grab the larger wall, and I just wanted to show that the actual peg goes in the corner and in the floor, and that creates a nice tight 90-degree wall. I'll go ahead and speed this up and get the rest in. With this last wall piece, now you can see the actual second floor coming together. One more level to go, guys, and I actually had to raise my camera up one more time, and I have to tell you, I'm running out of room over here. You can see the first floor, the second floor is together, and now we're just going to put in that back hallway or third floor. This is what we made in the beginning of the video, and thank goodness there's not a lot of pegs to line up. Let me spin this around for my sanity and yours. And with any luck, this will be the easiest level to put together. There's not as many pegs. There we go. Should be a pro at this by now. There we go. And one more here. Nice and level and flat, and all the pegs are in place. And now that I actually have my camera set up this high, and before I go ahead and lower it, I want to go ahead and add the guardrails to the top level here. Let me grab them. And according to the instructions, there's these. And there's 4 of these. And what I'll do is I'll spin this around to the back again, so I'm not reaching across the bench. Let me grab these out of here. Spin this around. And we'll take one of the yellowish orange ones. And I will say that you really should support the center over here. I'm pushing up on the floor and down on the peg, so don't snap anything. You really don't have to do that on the back wall. These are kind of flimsy, but I would push them down right here near the bottom. And wow, again, I'm sorry for the camera shake, but the camera is pretty high off the bench. Same thing with the gray one. Supporting the floor underneath. That one went in really smoothly. This one too. There we go. And of course for the last 2, this one goes in. And for this very last one, seeing how that this corner is just cantilevered out right here, I'm going to support it underneath and push this in. After all this work, we don't want to see anything snap or break. And there we have the top floor. And all the guardrails on. I'm going to pause the video and take a couple pictures so you can see the whole thing on camera. And for the second floor, we're going to put on the last 3 guardrails. There's 2 of these gray guardrails left. And that very unique gray guardrail with the yellow cautionary tape on it. Now, according to the directions, you just put this single... Wow, that was the easiest one that went in so far. And these 2 actually go on the end over here. Just like the top, take it easy and push them down from the base of the actual guardrail so you don't snap them. Slide this around a little bit. And put this one in place right here. Voila! There we have the actual structure put together. With the structure taken off the bench, we're going to go ahead and start putting together some of these accessories. We'll start with the stairwell. And by taking a look at these, just note that there's no left or right. They're absolutely identical, so it doesn't matter which side is which. Now there's the single platform that goes on the top, and I just want to note there's only 2 peg holes on this. And all the 9 treads right here are absolutely identical with 2 peg holes. What we'll do is we'll stand this up, and I just want to show you that as I'm going to put this together, it is kind of thin, so I'm going to support it just like I did the floor. We'll start at the bottom. This should slide on. Oh, that was pretty easy. Just like this. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top platform. I'll put this on. Again, notice the peg holes. We'll put this on right here. And I am supporting it so it doesn't snap. And this will just make it easier for me to assemble this. So I'm going to line up the bottom one. And again the top. So what I'll do is, now that you can actually see how this is going to go together, I'll speed up the camera and put the rest on for you. And here we have the portable stairwell. And you'll notice as I put it together, I did support each one of these rungs as I squeezed it together. I really like the look of this thing. I wouldn't go ahead and put a lot of weight on these railings because they are thin, but I think it'll serve the purpose. And it's a great addition to the actual diorama. Next up, we have the 3 chairs to assemble. This is the actual seat part right here, and the underside. This is the backrest, and the rear of the backrest. And these go together really easy, guys. You line up the rectangle slot, you slide it in like this, you grab one of the base, you line up the peg and put it in the hole, and I'll get the rest put together real quick for you. And there we have the 3 office chairs. And let me bring it in close so you can see all the wonderful detail on these things. And these are really easy to put together. Alright, let's move on to the computers. I've saved the best for last, the 3 computer stations. This is the last of the assembly. And let me pick up the water slide labels and show you all the fantastic drawing on these things. You can see the globe and the space type readout on these things. And if you've never used these water slide labels, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put one of these on. Get this down here, and we'll assemble 2 of these, and I'll leave one unassembled so we can get the water slide labels on. And you grab the keyboard section and one of the uprights, and you'll notice there's 3 holes on this. According to the instructions, this goes in the bottom hole, like that. Grab another leg. We'll do the same thing over here. Now for the monitors, actually let me stand this up to make sure it's level. There we go. I'm gonna grab one of the monitors, and as you can see, the smaller monitor actually goes on top. And if I flip it around, you'll see the two pegs. And per the instructions, these go in the actual top holes. Just squeeze these together. And there we have one of the 3 computer stations assembled. What I'll do is go ahead and speed it up and put the last one together for you. And like I said, we'll leave the 3rd one unassembled so I can put the water slide labels on. Alright, let's move on to the water slide labels. If you've never worked with these, I wanted to go ahead and at least show you how to put on one, just so you can see how this goes together. What you're going to need is a pair of tweezers, a pair of scissors, a container full of water. Now this is just bottled water. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and put on one of the larger ones so you can see it on camera easily. And of course you can see there's all different shapes here. There's a smaller monitor, which is those 3 in the center, right there, to go here. You can also see that on the keyboard there's 3 monitors, 2 are the same and 1 smaller one. That's the smallest one, and these 2 are the same. And of course you put on the corresponding labels in those, 3 small ones and the long ones on top. Now what we're going to do is you grab your scissors. We'll cut out one of these large sections right here, and the trick is to cut right on the color of the actual label and get rid of the baby blue backing. Take your time and cut it right to the corner, and we'll put this aside, and you line this up all the way around the actual water slide label. Here we go. Do the end cap. And before I actually dip this in the water and apply it, I want to dry fit it to make sure it's going to fit. And I can notice there's still a little of backing right there I'm going to have to trim off. So let me flip this out of here. Give it another trim. And again, take your time. There's no rush doing this. And it looks like a little bit on the end here. And what I'll do is, as I get this trimmed up, I'll dry fit it one more time. There we go. And now you know it's going to fit. That looks good. Now, it doesn't matter what side this globe is on because there's no left or right. It's your personal preference. What you want to do now is take this and drop it in the water. And I'll bring this in close so you can see what's going on. Grab your tweezers and just gently push down on it, and you'll notice that the actual thing is curling up. And what that's doing is activating the actual glue or adhesive on the back of the water slide label. And once it's 100% soaked, like that, you take your tweezers and very gently pick it up. And the trick to this is, the reason why these are called water slides are they actually slide off the backing. So I'm going to rub my 2 fingers together and start sliding this off. See how it's coming off the backing? Now before you completely remove it, you line it up like this. You give it a little squeeze here and you slowly pull off the backing. And now you have no air bubbles and it lies nice and flat. Now try not to touch it too much with your fingers, but if you have a dry clean cloth, very gently give it a couple of dabs like this and leave it alone and let it dry. And that's how you put on a water slide label. Now what I'll do is I'll put the rest on, but I'll do that off camera, so I know it's going to take a little while. Well, I finally got all the labels on the computer stations. I took my time, and it did take quite a while to get this done because there's some really small labels on this. Let me bring it in nice and close so you can see all the wonderful detail. Now I want to give you guys one more tip regarding the water slide labels. Now when you're cutting these off the blue backer, make sure your hands are 100% absolutely dry. Now when you're going to apply them and slide them off like I showed you, make sure that your fingertips or any part of your hands that are touching the labels are really wet. And that'll prevent these things from tearing, and it'll actually help them set and slide on better. Because once these come off the backing, they are relatively thin. Now I will say that I do like the end result. I am still a little confused as to why JoyToy just didn't add some sticker labels or sticker sheets, because I do know that folks aren't really used to using water slide labels, and not everybody is comfortable doing that. But as you can see, the end result does come out nice, and if you take your time, practice does make perfect, I guess. Let me line up these chairs and see how these are going to go together. And there we have the 3 computer stations. Let's wrap this up and get this monitoring area put together. With the monitoring area back on the bench, let's go ahead and start adding all these accessories. Let me turn this a little bit to the side and put one of these computer stations here. And now again, you can put this together or put these accessories any way you want. I'm just going according to the drawing on the box just for reference. Now these things are completely modular. You can put it down here if you want, or any way you want, or not add them at all. Add the last one here. Bring in the 2 final chairs. Let's grab the stairwell. This goes right here. And I find it funny that they don't lead all the way up to the 3rd level, but I guess that's where your imagination comes in. Let's grab the bookcases, or shelving. There's 3 of these. According to the drawing, these just slide in under here. There's 1, 2, and the last one. And let's grab those yellow shelving units. And these are stackable. You'll notice that there's grooves on the bottom, and these just port together like that, hold together pretty snugly, or you can take them apart. But according to the drawing, I know that there was a set right here, right in the center. And I think what I'm going to do for the last 2 is actually put them on level 2. I'll put one here and one right there. And there we have it, the MECHA Depot monitoring area fully assembled. Turn it to the side a little bit to get a good look. And what I think I'll do is take some actual pictures and stills of the entire thing. I thought it'd be kind of fun to wrap up this review with taking this diorama and adding the meeting diorama I put together. And let me slide this over to the side. And we'll slide in the meeting area. Feel free to check that video out. And here you can see, they just slide together nicely. They tie together really well. And as JoyToy keeps releasing these sets, I can absolutely see this city getting larger and larger. Well, that's going to wrap up my review of the MECHA Depot monitoring area. This thing was fun to build, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me to the end. Don't let those water slides deter you from picking this thing up, because it is worth it. And I look forward to JoyToy's future releases and seeing how this city is going to grow and fill out my shelf. and bring life to my 1/18 scale and Joy Toy figures. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you like what you see, join the community and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to help a fellow collector out and share your knowledge.